My name is Joseph, and this is.
What's up, guys? Casey Coleman, physical therapist. Still sounds great to say, so I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's extremely grateful to be a physical therapist, man. And we are the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. Our job is to help you if you are a pre-PT. If you're not, then it's great to have you here as well. But we serve pre-PTs and we help you as a pre-PT get into PT school without wasting a lot of time and money. That's what we do. Like point blank, there's a lot of things that we do to help you get there. But simply put, that is our job. And so if you are a pre-PT, if you are looking to apply, whether it's this cycle or in the future, you are in the right place. And we're glad to have you here. And tonight we're going to talk about a question that quite a few pre-PTs have talked about. It's not one that everyone wants to say out loud, because the biggest fear, a big fear that we have is sometimes like we don't want to say something that makes us feel like we're making the wrong decision, right? Like as humans, we don't like making bad decisions, right? Like when you're going to buy like a new outfit, you want to make sure that outfit actually fits your style. When you're picking a new car that you want, you're like, okay, like I at least want to look decent in the car, or at least I want a car that works, right? So if you have a car, like I used to have a black Jetta from 2004. It was my first car, and like I was so excited about getting the car, but within like 2 or 3 weeks, we realized that everything was like a bust. So that car did not even last long. So I felt like I made a bad decision by buying the car. And so as humans, we don't like making bad decisions. And for you as a pre-PT, the biggest fear that we can have is that we're making the wrong move as future physical therapists. And so we're going to talk about it tonight. And the two things we're going to talk about tonight is, one, is physical therapy stable? Because especially now, when everything in the country, let's talk about the States, for example, has felt very unstable with COVID-19. That's just it's a common question to ask. It's a very sensible question to ask. And the question is it stable? Like, is physical therapy stable? I wanted PT, but man, like, is it really as stable as I thought it was? And then the next one is it still worth it? So we're going to talk about those main points tonight. And if you guys are joining us live, I am not seeing any of the comments. So I'm trying to see the comments, but it's not showing me any of them. So I'm hoping y'all are here. So if you guys are here, try to say hashtag Team Live or hello, and we'll see if the comments show up, because I want to shout you guys out. But I hope this live is helpful. If it is, share it with a friend. And of course, on Sunday, we do have a free masterclass training that we do not want you guys to miss. We are showing you what our last 100 plus students have learned and understood to get themselves into PT school. And this is like a pretty broad group of students that have had low GPA, students that have been rejected 3, some even 4 times prior to getting accepted. And we have them all. So if you are at a point where you're like, yeah, I don't think I'm good enough, you definitely want to be there. It's www.leveluptheprept.com. So I want to throw that out there. Now let's talk about it, Casey. Is PT stable? And 2, is PT worth it? Let's talk about it, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I want to take the pressure off of physical therapy for one moment, because we're not the only ones going through this at all. Now, we're talking about physical therapy because that's what we do, and you guys are trying to get into physical therapy school. But let's take the pressure off us for a little bit, because this is a global thing going on. This is a pandemic going on. So we're not the only ones being hit. So if it's going through your head, if it's going through other people's head, like, is it stable? Is this still a good job? It's normal, but understand that that line of questioning still needs to be kind of compared to the broader scale of what's going on, because that's kind of like asking, is, being a principal still a good job, even though the schools are being demolished right now? You guys know it. You're taking online classes. Your department chairs, the superintendents, the principals, they're going through hell right now. Does that mean being in education is not stable? The same thing with oil. I don't know how many people are paying attention to oil and the oil rigs and the oil war going on between, other countries, but they're being hit hard too. The same thing with the restaurant business. Airlines and travel, they're being hit hard too. Does that mean being a pilot is a horrible career choice? Not necessarily. Airbnb is being hit. Entertainment, sports, the freaking NBA, they're probably not going to pay their players anymore for the coming months. Does that mean being a basketball player is a bad decision? No, it's just this freaking anomaly has come over everyone, and now we have to deal with it in different ways. So is it stable? Yes. And if this thing never happened, if coronavirus never happened, we would still probably have this conversation, because every profession still goes through innovation. Every industry still goes through innovation. I think this kind of what's called in the financial markets, is called a black swan event. So this kind of black swan event is just kind of exposing everyone and speeding this up a little bit. So everyone goes through innovation, including physical therapy. And innovation has been going on a while in PT, with different factors. And the main one right now being telehealth, because that's all people can really turn to right now. That's been going on for a while. People have been talking about it, not necessarily underground, but there's been people talking about this for a long time. Some early adapters have hopped on it, and now everybody has to hop on it because there's no other choice. So we're going through innovation, whether it was coronavirus being the catalyst for this or not. So is physical therapy stable? Of course, absolutely. If you're able to be innovative and you're able to diversify yourself as a physical therapist, of course it's stable. The same thing goes with these other industries that I just mentioned. If you guys have been following the news about airlines and stuff, the travel industry is stable. Everybody wants to travel. People need to travel places and visit family and go on trips and vacations and all that stuff. However, what happened, they weren't very diversified with how they handled their money. They were doing stock buybacks and stuff like that, which now they're exposed and they're tanking. So they're stable, of course. However, they just didn't make the right decisions to be stable in all situations. Physical therapy is stable. People are going to have surgeries. They're going to get hurt. They're going to need healthcare. Healthcare is probably one of the most stable careers out there. That's probably one of the reasons why you picked it. So yes, it's stable, but it's only stable in all situations if you're innovative, and you diversify your skill set and your streams of income. So no matter if coronavirus happens or Ebola happens again, or a meteor hits, whatever happens, you're safe and able to adapt. So that's kind of my take on everything going on. I want to take the pressure off of PT right now. I know a lot of business owners are beating themselves up, schools and DPT schools are beating themselves up like, man, why didn't I prepare for this? Why didn't I know this is coming? Why didn't I start telehealth sooner? What are we going to do? Why didn't I start the hybrid portion of my PT schools earlier and all that stuff? It's okay. Like, who would have thought this would have came? Now all we have to do is be able to adapt and make sure this doesn't happen as brutally as it did now if it happens again before. So that's my little take on it. Of course, it's still stable. We just now have to prepare for the worst and the best of what's to come in the future. So yeah, what's your take?
Yeah, you said the word. The word was innovate. For those of y'all that are live, can y'all comment that below? The word innovate. One thing that we've always talked about, y'all, in pre-PT grind is everything is about innovation. Like, even how we teach students to get into PT school, it's very different from how things were taught, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Like, innovation is the key to survival, right? And if we're asking the question of like, man, is it stable or not? The real thing that I want you guys to understand is it's a matter of innovation or dying, right? It's like innovate or die. Any industry that does not innovate will die. Like, there are careers and businesses that once COVID is has lifted and people are healthy and all this other stuff, there's a lot of businesses and leaders that were there that will not exist anymore because they did not innovate. There are people that were not leaders, that were not front runners in their careers, that were not leveling up as pre-PTs, that through this they decided to innovate and start asking different questions. They're like, okay, how can I still navigate through this? How can I still do this? How can I still do that? And so innovation is everything, everything. So you have to ask yourself, if I'm ever asking myself that question of like, man, is PT stable? Like, you have to ask yourself, why am I really asking that? Like, am I asking that because I want to go into a profession where I don't have to worry about it anymore? It's like, Casey Joseph, listen, bruh. Listen, all I want is to get my DPT degree. I know it's going to be freaking expensive because I'm looking at all the PT schools I'm going to apply to, and they're telling me I'm going to be like $100,000 in debt, $150,000 in debt, and whatever. And I'm not trying to scare y'all, but now, Casey and Joseph, all I want is to finish my doggone degree and work a job that I know I will have, that I know I won't get fired from. And even if I get fired, I'll be able to find a new one and I'll be able to take care of my family. That's what I want. And so what COVID-19 has done is it's pretty much said, boop, like everybody losing jobs, right? And so like part of that is just like premature panic, because all of a sudden this dream of, oh, I'll never like have a day without work and all, it's like, shoot, all these PTs don't have jobs. But Casey just like said it so well. Most professions are going through that right now. And the ones, even in PT, let me tell you all this right now. Like, we're good friends with the most influential PTs in the profession right now. And all of them, the ones that are crushing it right now are the innovators. Whether that's going online, whether that is figuring out how to navigate their clinics. A good friend of ours, Paul Goff, he literally has like multiple cash clinics in the United Kingdom. He has, like things here in the States, and he literally shut everything down because he wanted to make sure the health of his clinic was good. But he literally transitioned how he treats everything. They had like a 6-week, they're currently going through right now, like a 6-week training on how to do telehealth the right way and still be profitable and all this other stuff, because they innovate. They innovate. So the question I want you to ask yourself as a pre-PT is this. If you're coming into PT because it's stable, well, you are part of the norm. So that's fine. Like, most people choose PT because it's a pretty stable job. And to calm your fears, people are always going to get sick. People are always going to get injured. People are always going to, sprain their ankles and all that stuff. Sports teams are always going to need someone to help them navigate through that stuff. So it's stable from that standpoint. But if you're coming into the profession thinking, I just want to coast, then it might not be as stable as you think. But that goes for any profession. In every profession, there is always like a sense of an old guard and a new guard, right? In physical therapy, we're currently feeling it. There's always been an old guard that has always said, oh, virtual stuff is not good for our profession. Virtual stuff is this. Virtual stuff is taken away. Same people that told us pre-PT grind is pointless. Pre-PT grind can't really serve pre-PTs because you should just tell the pre-PTs to go to the school's website and they'll just figure it out from there, because that's how it's always been done. And because that's how it's always been done, that's how it should be. Aren't y'all grateful that we didn't listen? Aren't y'all grateful that we didn't listen? Great. So now what's happening is the old guard is starting to shift, because now they're like, crap, we got to do something else. So now they're going to the things that the new guard was, trying to tell them, like online and all these different things. So you have to innovate. So if you're coming into the profession saying, man, I want PT, go back to why you want to be a physical therapist. I want to be a physical therapist to serve a ton of people. I want to be a physical therapist because I want to do neuro PT, because I want to do sports PT, because I want to do outpatient PT. I want to be the physical therapist for the Los Angeles Lakers. I want to do, okay, cool. Like, those dreams, go back to them and realize that the only way you'll like continue to enjoy the career is if you continue to innovate. Innovation is just transforming yourself. Innovation is continuing to learn. One thing that we've always told our students, and it is that like think about it, like from the time y'all were in kindergarten, your desire was always to go to the next phase, right? So when I'm in kindergarten, I'm trying to get to first grade, which means I have to grow. I have to transform myself, learning all this, these things, how to write in cursive. I don't even know if they do cursive in schools no more, right? Like, okay, I have to do all this. Okay, cool. Now I'm in first grade. Cool. In first grade, I have to learn things and then now go the next step and second grade. When I'm in ninth grade, I'm trying to get to high school. So there's certain things I have to grow in. And then when I'm in my senior year in high school, I'm trying to get to college. When I'm in college, I'm trying to get to where y'all are trying to get to now, PT school. So what happens after finishing PT school? I do my board exam, and then I become a physical therapist, this stable job that I've wanted to do so I can coast. And then what happens is this: for the people that don't innovate, you've spent your whole life like leveling up. Like that's how you found enjoyment. Like as stressful as this application process is, like, oh, we get it. That's why we help people through it. As stressful as this whole thing is, y'all have to understand, you've actually loved this part of it. As much as you hate the application process, as much as this brings y'all stress, like, oh, they don't teach cursive anymore? What? Man, sucks for students. They can learn on YouTube. but man, as much as y'all hate like the rigors of the application process, y'all have to realize y'all like low-key love the process of pushing yourself to a new like stage. You've done it since you were a kid. For those of you that are non-traditional students, you guys got into a profession and kind of coasted. It could have been 5 years, 6 years, and you're like, no, not anymore. Let me go do PT. That's what fulfills me. So now you're in this process of kind of being back at it, right? Okay, cool. But and so that is exactly what innovation is. Innovation is looking for solutions that are going to continue to push the profession, but more importantly, that will continue to serve the people you take care of. So one thing for us, like me and Casey, we realized like we're both physical therapists and we love PT. We still think it's insanely stable, right? And yes, COVID-19 is just, it's crazy, and it's just, once every who knows how long. But what I want you guys to understand is, if you guys are coming to this profession, start asking yourself, am I willing to innovate? Am I willing to learn how to innovate? Am I willing to learn how to ask the right questions? Like for us, that's all we've been asking the last 2 weeks. We're like, okay, what are the students looking for? What do they need? What are they at? Like, so we created like a survival guide because we're trying to innovate, like something new. Like, what do they need? Okay, they need clarity. So we created the masterclass for this coming weekend, which if y'all have not signed up for, go sign up for it. www.leveluptoprept.com. Shameless plug. But the honest truth is, like, we've always just had to figure out like how can we create something else? How can we innovate? And it makes it fun. But for the people that do that, they will always have a stable life. They will, because a lot of the outside things you can't predict. I cannot predict what the next like pandemic is going to be. And I will not sit here and say that it won't happen, because it will. it will. How long from now? I don't know. There will be another economy crash. There will be. But you have to, this is something, what's up, Jakari? This is something that I want you guys to understand. Whether you're watching this live or on replay, or you've been coached by us, I want you to understand that part. Stability comes from your desire and your commitment to innovation. That's the only thing that can create stability. That is the only thing that can create stability. Y'all are in one of the most stable professions there is, and people are still losing jobs. So we have to stop asking the question of, is PT, like, is it secure? Is it? No. It is. But everything gets exposed when you're not willing to innovate. So it's a question you have to ask yourself. And as a pre-PT, are you willing to start learning the skills? Are you willing to start learning the things that will give you the tools to innovate? Jakari is live right now. Jakari's been innovating like crazy. Jakari's a pre-PT, but y'all, she's also a financial guru. She's also been learning other ways to, generate other streams of income and all these things that actually add value to her journey. And then the last question was, is it worth it? Is PT still worth it? This is a much easier question to answer. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to you? I can't answer that question for you. Casey can't answer that question for you. I can tell y'all this. PT has been insanely worth it to us because of why we wanted to get into it. If you're getting into physical therapy because someone pushed you to do it, it might not be worth it for you. We don't know. Like, you have to be real with yourself. You have to be 100% authentic with yourself. Like why are you doing this thing? Like, if you're going to spend all this time, all this money, like, PT school's hard. Like, let's not sugarcoat anything. Like, if you're going to go through all of this, are you doing it just to please somebody else? Are you doing it because it's something you just saw on Google and you're like, that sounds like a fun profession, let's just kind of coast through it? Well, if that's the case, You don't know yet if it's worth it for you or not. And the honest truth is, you actually owe it to yourself. Like, for the amount you're going to invest, you owe it to yourself to be real and authentic with yourself. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? If your reason is strong for why you're doing this, and you're like, I can't see myself doing any other profession, then you better believe it's worth it, because it will fulfill all those things. But if you don't have a strong reason, then the honest truth is, I can't answer it for you, and I don't know. It might or it might not be. I can tell you this, it's not for everybody. PT is not for everybody. But understand that everyone who wants to be a PT and everyone who has a strong reason for being a PT can get into physical therapy school. Regardless of what their journey is, regardless of where they're at, they can. But it's not for everybody. Like, meaning that if you don't really want this, please, like, do yourself the service. It's like a relationship. Like, Casey, if I'm about to get married, I better know. Like, I better know that marriage is worth it to me. Like, if my friend asks me, like, is it worth it? I'm not just gonna be like, well, I got to get married because marriage, right? No, I got to ask myself, do I actually love this person? Do I actually want to spend the rest of my life with this person? Am I setting myself up for failure because I'm just kind of closing my eyes and just blindly getting into this thing? And it's the same thing with y'all and becoming a physical therapist. Y'all, this profession is amazing. This profession still has so much that's untapped. It's beautiful. That's why we're having so much fun in it. This profession has so much room for innovation. And this profession allows you to serve people at such a high level. But don't take that as like your motivation to become a PT because Joseph said so. No, do it because it's something that you want to do. And if it is, then we're here to help you navigate through it. And for those of y'all that have made that decision, you're like, man, I want to become a physical therapist and I'm trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B. Man, we want y'all to join us this Sunday. I'm being for real. We want you guys to join us this Sunday. This Sunday, for this Sunday's masterclass, we're showing you, like, this is not something we pulled out of a textbook, man. We've been doing this for years. Like, we're going to show you how the keys that the last 100 plus students we got into PT school, what they understood that most pre-PTs do not. That's what we're teaching you on Sunday. And if you are not able to show up live, you got to register to at least have access to the replay. But if you have not registered for it and you really want to be a physical therapist, then we got to make that happen. It's someone put this in the comments for me, www.leveluptheprept.com, www.leveluptheprept.com. And then the last thing is, I believe that there's a lot of power in people. And for those of us that are coming, like I just said this to our students in the accepted system community, which is our coaching program. I was doing another live. I was sharing some stuff I've been going through with them. But I told them one of my favorite lines that I heard a few years ago was lift as you rise. And as you guys are rising in your journey as a pre-PT, as you guys are learning how to navigate these things and getting your questions answered and so on and so forth, man, you got to bring other people up with you. The way you guys have been taught is you've been taught to compete in a way that is actually unhealthy to not only you, but it's unhealthy to the profession. We bring it into PT and it actually disgusts me, right? It's where we say, man, I'm going to keep other people down so that I can be the best, right? As a pre-PT, if I'm going to apply, I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to help other pre-PTs out, because if I do, then they're going to have a better application than me. And lo and behold, because I helped them, now I'm going to have a worse application, which y'all, like, you can't be the tallest tower by just crushing down everybody else's building. So y'all got to learn to lift as you rise. That's the way you guys are going to survive as pre-PTs. That's the way that the profession is going to survive. I'll be honest, y'all. Remember how I was talking about old guard and new guard? The old guard has a hard time with that. And one thing that I want y'all to like come into this profession with is understanding, man, if we're going to do this the right way, if we're going to push physical therapy to limits that have not even been touched, we're going to have to shift how we look at that. We're going to have to lift. We're going to have to lift other people when we're learning things. We got to pull people up, because, man, like, if y'all are scared of people having more to stand out with, you guys as individuals have enough difference as is. And we'll show you. If you're asking how, Joseph, well, be there on Sunday. We'll show you exactly how. But man, that's the game. If you're serious about it, we'll see you on Sunday. If you're not, well, talk to someone that can get you serious so you can also be there on Sunday. But that's it, y'all. I hope that was helpful. Casey, anything else before we wrap it up?
Just remember that innovation makes things better. And after this COVID situation is done, don't be afraid or don't stop thinking about innovating in the future. Because like Joseph said, who knows when something else is going to happen, and you're going to look back at this time like, man, I should have did something new. I should have tried something different. I should have put my idea to work when I could have that last time. So don't be afraid to innovate. Don't think about it like, man, crap, PT is going through some tough times. Now I have to innovate. No. We should be innovating regardless of coronavirus is here or not. So once this is done, make sure you keep that spirit alive so that we can push this profession forward. So if you don't know where to start with innovation, like Joseph said, go to leveluptheprept.com.
Oh, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Much love to y'all. I hope that was helpful for you guys. And we got a lot more. If you guys have other topics that you're like, man, I'm struggling with this, and we have quite a few coming already because we've gotten a lot of suggestions. We want to talk about the things that you guys are struggling with for real, and not sugarcoating it, as you guys can see. So feel free to message us at contact3ptgrind.com and say, hey guys, I'm struggling with this or that. Can y'all talk about it? Well, with me personally, and then also with everybody else on the live stream, and we'd be more than happy to do that. That's it, y'all. Have a great rest of your evening.